I just realized it's so hot outside that you just have to shoot the intro inside. That's about where I'm at today.
Hey Mom, look, the boys are back in town.
So today begins the process of hopefully dialing the old Ford to life. Got fuel pumps here. My dog's going crazy. Fuel pumps here, so we're gonna go put that in right now. Fuel tank will be here Sunday. Carburetor will be here tomorrow. We're gonna go ahead and get the fuel tank or fuel pump put in. Then tomorrow we'll do the carburetor. Then we'll slap the fuel tank in it, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. But let's go slap the fuel tank in, or not a fuel tank. Guys, fuel first pump. Thing we're gonna do in this process, I gotta find another bolt that matches that one. I don't know where the one that was in it is. And also I noticed that is pretty good and stuck on there, and this one just, well, we take her back a few threads and it just comes out. So we gotta get that off. We gotta get that off. So that's gonna be step one in this process. After that and that's done, we'll find a bolt for the fuel pump. We'll get it thrown in. But all in all, should be fairly straightforward today. But we'll see. Time will tell, as always. The best way to do this, guys, literally just took some PP blaster, sauced up this one, but I sauced down in the hole as well. Basically threaded this in until it got tight, then threaded the nut down a few threads, turned it around, it backed right out. So now that that's back together like it should be, yeah, I'm gonna go now find a bolt for this fuel pump. I don't know if y'all see one, but I sure as crap don't. So I'm gonna go dive into the bucket of bolts I got. Hopefully I have something that'll fit a Ford, because all my stuff's Toyotas. Battery for this truck is currently recharging in the Tacoma because it is the Tacoma's battery. I don't know if y'all can hear how rough that thing's running, but it's running pretty bad. So let's go find a... you know, it's no stranger that every bolt, every nut tells a story. And this tells a story of no penetrating fluid, no nothing. So I'm gonna try and bust this fitting loose. The old fuel pump came with, or the new fuel pump came with a new one, but there's no getting that out. So unless I'm gonna have to cut this down, re-flare it, and put a new fitting on. Unless I can get that out. If I can get that out, then I can thread this piece in to the new fuel pump, so long as the threads are the fashion. Looks like we're gonna be cutting some stuff off. I'm gonna have to cut it right here, and heck, go get this thing fixed. I guess I could go with a soft line all the way. I might just do that, but I don't know. I need to go with a hard line. I need to get this fixed. So let me cut this, and hopefully I didn't twist anything. Cut that off and we'll get it fixed up. Okay, so in the grand scheme of things, I didn't mess the pipe up too bad. There's one little kink there, but it's not too bad. Got it cut off flush, sanded it down, made sure it was nice and good. But yeah, that's the result of 45 years of rust and debris. So we'll get a new fitting put on that, and I gotta go grab a bolt from Home Depot to get that fixed, to get the bolts in for the new fuel pump. But yeah, this one's junk. I was hoping I was gonna have a spare, but not today. I'm not that lucky. I ended up having to buy a kit from AutoZone, flare nut kit. It's probably gonna be in good use in the next couple weeks. But basically all I did was take the old fuel line and cut it off. I had to cut back that part that was crimped. This part, the new fitting would not go over it. So cut it back, sanded it flush, and now I flared it out. It's not perfect, but should be good to throw into the new fuel pump. I got some new hose for the fuel pump. And I got this piece to attach to the fuel filter, because now that we've shortened this, we're gonna have a longer distance from here to there. And I wanted to make sure I had plenty to go to the carburetor. So got some extra. So now I'm gonna get this piece just threaded right into here, snugged up real good. And this will be ready to go on the truck in the morning, because it's currently like 11 o'clock at night and I'm about to go to bed. So yeah, let me get this thing threaded in. All right guys, so kind of good news and kind of bad news. I got the new fuel pump in. Bad news is broke from the spark plug wire, so I got more of them coming in. The spark plugs I have all right here. Cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't look terrible. They don't look great. So I picked up a new set. So we'll get those thrown in. But right now, I currently have the cylinders soaking in PB Blaster, because when I turned the motor over this morning, it spun fine, the fuel pump clicked, and then it got about a quarter turn and it just completely locked up. So I got the valve cover kind of taken loose. We're gonna go ahead and pop that off. I'm gonna kind of investigate the valve train on this thing. Hopefully nothing's broke, but the new carburetor's here, so we'll get it thrown on at some point today as well. All right guys, I am smart, but I am not that smart. The last engine I worked on, that was an inline 6 300, was on my 97 F250. It was an automatic. This is a 3-speed. And me being the genius I am, I had it in gear. So we are clicking away now. So just like that, everything's going good. So now I'm just gonna find the torque spec for all these, double check all the torque, because there is that one that was kind of loose, but might have been because it was up, I don't know. But yeah, the motor is free, it's not locked up, thank goodness. So now I gotta figure out, I should probably blow the PB Blaster out of the cylinder heads. So I'm gonna clean all this up real quick, and then throw the valve cover gasket back on. We'll move on to getting the carburetor back on. I ain't gonna turn it over yet. I gotta get all that stuff out of the cylinder head, out of the piston, or off the top of the pistons. But yeah, motor, it spins as free as the day is long. So that is good. But let's get a carburetor. Alright guys, so what y'all just saw, basically I just blew all the old paint and dust and dirt and grime and junk that was on here. Once I did that, I had a bunch of bare metal, so eventually this will get an actual coat of paint, but for now, to keep this thing from getting any rust on it, I just hit it with some primer. Call it what you will, but that'll prevent any surface rust. It doesn't look the best. I didn't have much in my can, so it's primed. We're gonna go throw this back on once it dries, get the carburetor on, and then we'll check the cylinders and make sure there's no PB Blaster remaining in there. Get the spark plugs in, and then I got new wires coming. They'll be here in about 2 hours. So get those on, get the new wires on, and then yeah, we'll be pretty close to being able to turn the key and see if she starts. But yeah, that's done. We'll let her dry. All right, guys, what we're about to do is basically see what kind of rotational force we have on this thing, because I haven't actually turned the motor over yet, and I have no spark plugs in it. So we need to blow everything up. So that's exactly what we're doing. That is a sound that I like to hear. Did anything shoot out? I didn't see it. But. All right, cylinders are clear, so we'll go ahead and throw the old spark plugs in. All right, so new spark plugs are in. The old one, nice and crispy. They don't look that old though, but yeah. So I'll keep a couple of them as a spare, just in case something drastic happens. But for now, I am gonna go pick up the new wires, and we will be and some fuel lines. And some carburetor lines and some fittings, you know, the usual stuff. So, all right, guys, I'll be back in just a little bit. How much?
You don't need much. You can open her up.
Oh, it's open.
Pour some in there. That's good.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Watch your knuckle hairs. 3, 2, 1.
Fired right up.
I'll be damned, boy. Well, guys, what y'all just heard was the first proof that the motor does run. Me and my dad, we dumped a little 87 octane right down her throat, and she fired right up. Didn't skip, didn't hesitate, didn't knock, smoothed out real quick, then died because we didn't have any gas. But that gives me all the evidence I need to know to now go forward with everything else I want to do. So now that we know that it runs, tomorrow the fuel tank gets here, we'll throw it in, we'll get it running on its own power, and then see what's working and what's not, pretty much. Transmission's still unknown. The brakes are firm. So yeah, it's now it's on to the fun part. Motor runs. But we'll see y'all tomorrow with the new fuel tank. Alright guys, I goofed severely. I didn't show the new wires. I didn't show plumbing up the carburetor. So let me go show y'all real quick what we did. And that will kind of fill in some gaps as to how we got from going to pick stuff up to starting the truck. So, all new wires even to the ignition coil. The fitting I had to get right there is a 1/8" to 5/16. This is a 3/8 fuel hose, so I'm really kind of hoping that that holds. If it doesn't, I'll replace it as needed. There's a bee flying around. See that little sucker? He's cooking. Got a new line from the charcoal canister into the carburetor, and this one. It's the vacuum, something with the vacuum. Runs down to this main pump, like right there. I was just kind of throwing hoses at it, and I guess I got it right. There's no diagrams on this carburetor. There's no how-tos with it. This is a Chinese knockoff carburetor, but truck runs. So yeah, that's the portion that y'all missed. Like I said, we got the spark plugs in, but now we're gonna go ahead and change the oil because I do not want to run this thing without new oil in it. And I gotta go pick up a bottle of Lucas because I'm gonna top off the ounce that I'm missing with some thick Lucas you know, engine repair, instant engine repair. So yeah, let's get the oil dropped out of it and see what we got. So we got the my name is Earl changed, and it doesn't look terrible. There's no metal chunks in it. It didn't look like there was anything kind of hanging out in it. So yeah, we're gonna throw 5 gallons of STP in there, and not sponsored. Then I'm gonna run to AutoZone and grab some Lucas, pour it down there, and see where she sits. Should be good. These motors typically take six quarts, and I've only got 5 quarts. So yeah, let's get some go-go juice. Let's see what we're cooking with here. I've never actually used STP, but I've heard that it's an okay oil, and I don't want to put Castrol in here until, you know what, I just spilled that shit everywhere. Hang on. I don't want to use Castrol because I was scared of what I might find when the motor actually turns over. But now that I know that's good, once we get the old girl running, driving, stopping, I'll swap this whole STP out for some Castrol or some Shell Rotella. Who knows? But I'm going with a 10W40 weight, according to everything I've read, and granted I used to run 10W30 in my old F250. These motors love thick oil, so we're gonna slap that in there, because if I remember correctly, this inline 6 is geared really low, so if we get over like 50 miles an hour, it's just gonna be screaming for mercy. Yeah, we're gonna dump 5 quarts in here, see what happens, see where she's at on the old dinosaur stick. Remember, if you shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it. All right, let's see what we got. That jump soak in for just a second. Why does it sound like it's leaking out the bottom? No? Oh, well, I guess, yeah, I do remember you can hear the oil literally going through the valve train in this truck. So, all right, let's see what we got. Well, according to this, well, there's 2 hash marks on the back that are different than the ones in the front. Okay, so we are a quart low. So that means the Lucas will top this off nice and good. Yeah, let me go grab that, and then we'll dump it in there, and I'll tell y'all kind of what that stuff does, because truthfully, I've only ever just put it in stuff, put it in my dad's Corolla, and never actually read what it does. So let's go to AutoZone. Guys, it's finally here. Brand new fuel tank, brand new lock washer for the sending unit. Let me go get the stuff out of the truck. All right, so here's what we got. Tubular. Filler neck, which is gonna be cut. And the sending unit is right here. Get me a screwdriver. Alright guys, I was being an idiot. So basically, I forgot to put the gasket on the first time. So, gasket's on now. We are plugging away. I think we're in. We're good. So we're good on that. Now I need to size up the new filler neck hose. I probably shouldn't have put that on there, but it'll be fine. I have the old one. I'm just gonna go from there to there. I can get my knife out. So now I can go under the truck and get this thing crammed up through, get the filler neck hoses through the frame rail, get some straps on her, plug everything up, and put gas in it. See if she'll run under her own steam. All right, guys, so here's the deal. The new tank is slightly wider. I think that one's a 15 gallon, this one's a 19 gallon. So it's a little bit thicker, so my fuel straps don't fit. So right now we got the old ratchet strap under there, holding everything together. But yeah, new tank's in, all plumbed up, all new lines, all new sending unit and everything. So now, the fun part, let's go see what kind of gas we got laying around and fill her up and see what happens. I'm not being able to get any fuel up to the front. So I'm gonna run down to the gas station real quick and grab 5 more gallons and then reconvene. Guys, I just hand bled all the lines up to here. The water or the fuel that came out of that was about that color. But now we're back down to clean fuel. So the battery's charging back up. I'm gonna slap that fuel line back on the carburetor, and we are we're gonna see what happens. It's we're very, very, very close. All right, guys, here we go. Going through. We got a small leak, but it's coming from the thermostat. Okay, it's not a small leak, it's a pretty big leak. We got a slight fuel leak at the fuel pump. Smoking. That's his lid. The alternator's charging. Can't take the battery off. Yeah, alternator charging. All right, let's try something. I would be lying if I wasn't the happiest man on the planet right now. Alright guys, so y'all just saw it. Truck runs. Now, I'm gonna top off the radiator with some water because we do have a hell of a leak. I haven't purged the system at all, so I'm probably gonna leave the thermostat cap off just so it doesn't blow the thing up. We do have a fuel leak we gotta fix with the fuel pump, but it's not bad enough to where I can't at least try to drive it to the end of the driveway. So let's see if she'll move under her own steam. Just like that, she runs and drives, and she stops. All right, guys, so it started raining on me as I was fixing a few things. I went and got 5 more gallons of gas because right after the video of it driving, it ran out. I was FaceTiming Alec, and I wanted to show him how it was running and everything, and the fuel gauge is reading empty. But the fuel gauge works. The sending unit works. The alternator is charging, which is insane to me. And I was doing a little investigative research while I'm just sitting here kind of waiting on the rain to let down, which it really has. But I got to looking at the window sticker on this truck. The last time this truck was registered in South Carolina was November of 1995. So I'm almost thinking before the last owner bought it, the guy I bought it from, that it sat from 95 to 2023. Then they bought it, took it to a shop, somewhat got it running from what I could gather. But yeah, 1995 was the last time this thing was registered. In my excitement of driving it, I didn't even think to check if anything on the dash works. I know the voltmeter works. I know the oil pressure works because it was up, and then as it started to idle down, it slowly started to drop, which is normal. The fuel gauge works. I don't know about the temp yet. Right before the rain got here, I put 5 more gallons of gas in it, and I RTV'd the thermostat housing. So now the thermostat housing is sealed up. Well, it will be tomorrow. I'm not going to start the truck or anything like that tonight. Let that stuff cure, let that get good, and then tomorrow I got some 3/8 hose and an adapter over there. I'm going to take the fitting off the fuel pump, get rid of that hard line, and just run a soft line up and over through the fuel filter right into the carburetor. At the carburetor side, it's not leaking. It's just leaking at the fuel pump side, and that's where that flared end is not doing what it's supposed to. The brakes work tremendously. The clutch is very, very stiff, but if you can hear, the shifter fixed itself once I got it idling. So yeah, the shifter bushing does not need to be replaced. It's in immaculate condition. The gears shift through just fine. I haven't got a chance to take it on the road. I want to make sure it's actually cooling before I do that. I don't want to overheat it. But yeah, all in all, she runs, she drives. I've got a factory Ford key for it, which is insane for 45 years. So I guess in the next video, I will be truck sat for 18 years. And then it sat for another 8 months before I got it. So it was only driving for a couple months. But yeah, now we have new fuel pump, new carburetor, new fuel tank, all new fuel lines. I bled out all the old fuel lines, got all the crappy fuel out of it. Brakes, I completely bled, fresh fluid and everything. All the brakes look really good. The e-brake works phenomenal. The clutch is stiff, but it feels good. It doesn't feel like it's binding or slipping or anything like that. So clutch is good, shifter bushing is good. Yeah, I think we have greatly lucked out with this truck, but we'll see. We got a long road ahead of us in this restore. But for right now, I'm gonna go get cleaned up and go to dinner because a guy's hungry. So it's been real, y'all. We'll catch y'all in the next video. See y'all.